No, Mom. No, Pokemon Go is not the hottest new thing. No. No, I know Pikachu is cute, but he's not going to get more leads for a home builder. No. Nope. Sorry, Mom. Gotta go do a show. Yeah, we'll talk more about Pokemon Go later. All right. See you later. All right. Here we are. Episode number 1 of DYC Live, where we answer your questions. And we are going to dive right in here. Quick ground rules to cover with everyone, just real quick and simple. This is a Q&A show for the most part. You can submit questions in advance. You can also ask questions live, and we will answer those as they come in. The goal of this show is rapid analysis. So we're not going to spend 15 minutes on one question. We're going to try to go in and out fast and move along. These are going to be short 10, 15-minute clips at a time. And the reason we're doing it on Facebook Live now is because we can do show and tell. We can share our screens, and it just makes it a lot more interesting than a simple talking head on your end. 2 ground rules. 1, act like your mom is watching. Don't use the frowny face all the time, right? And try to be positive, because we fix processes, and digital creative is really what this show is about. It's not about fixing people. Fixing people is Dr. Phil or some other program. And so let's get into it. Question number 1 from Whitney in Lawton, Oklahoma. She says, can you give me some advice on how I can improve my site? Increase the amount of appointments set from website visitors. Do you have any suggestions here? That's a very broad question, Whitney, but we'll do the best we can here in a quick overview. So the site is pleasant. You've got a good hero image showcasing product. I like that. Nothing too distracting here. I will say that the social media icons up here in the top, you could probably do away with those in terms of keeping them in the header. Stick them down further below. Presumably we just spent a lot of time, energy, and money probably to get people to come to your site, and so we don't want the first thing to do to be to hop off and go somewhere else. The phone number is good, but some text around the call to action that will let people know what happens when I call. Is it just to get the office? Is it to get good answers, fast answers to questions, right? And then your nav is fairly condensed. I will say that the portfolio is a confusing term for what is when I go here to the video room. Then I have to select a video. Probably wanted to show a video outright with a play button ready to go. Available homes. Okay, let's check that out and see what we got here. So the Sapphire Chateau. I don't know where it is. I'm guessing that Oak Point and Oak Ridge are communities, but it's not very clear. And again, we talked about this in our secret pilot episode, that a lot of times what builder sites are missing is just a little bit more information, right? A line of text below here that would tell me a little more detail about these homes. So location, a community. If I could get a community listed here, or I could go and look at details about the neighborhood, that would be ideal. It's kind of just dropping me right at the product with no context about the location. Let's dive in one more level here and see what we get. Okay, we've got a good photo gallery. Let's see, when I pick one that I like, it shows up here. So I'm a big fan of having some text, again, some context for the photo that we're looking at. This one's pretty easy to tell. It's a owner's suite. But as we go along here, a line of text that describes the room that we're in, maybe a little bit about the finishes when we look at the kitchen. A line of text below the picture saying what kind of granite countertop that is. One of the biggest questions that online salespeople hear, or salespeople, is, hey, that picture that I saw, what's the countertop in that? What's the floor plan that it's from? Where could I go to see it? All those things are things that could be added in a caption down below. Okay, so getting more appointments, I think we need a stronger call to action. You know, it's just the phone number sitting there by itself. The color isn't going to draw you. The placement's good, top right in terms of placement. But I think a little bit more emotion, right? These home pages feel, you've got some good photographs, but they feel very static. We got some text here. And actually, a lot of people say, why write? Because people aren't going to read any of it. They won't read it unless they fall in love with the home, and then they want to read 3,000 words. But the organization here and the way it's grouped all together, it gets a little bit hard on the eyes when it all flows in together. Let's see. We got a floor plan, and we got a video. The video is hidden down here below. I've now been looking at it for about 3 minutes, your site, and I just now found the video, and I'm guessing this is of the particular home. So one suggestion would be to move the video up front in the beginning of the gallery so people can get to that content first that you spent a lot of time to do. Now, contact us, again, not the sexiest of calls to action. So we could definitely do that there, download a flyer. The good thing, I'm not seeing model home hours, although you may not have, okay, sales office, click for directions, telephone. One suggestion as well, all the phone numbers need to go to a single point, right? Whether it's an online salesperson or Whitney, if you were serving as that contact, making sure that all the phone numbers, and it looks like we've got a couple different ones. When I click the contact us, let's look at the form. Not the warm and fuzzies either, right? So a picture of the person that I'm going to be speaking with, or I know there is a company employee photo here, and just warming it up, right? So please submit the form below is not the verbiage that's going to get our engines revving, right? First name and last name are required. Email address and telephone is not. You probably want to require one of those. But the main thing here is just warming it up again with, hey, we're looking forward to answering any and every question about a new home and building a new home with us. Be very clear with, there's a great book out there if you haven't read it called Don't Make Them Think, or Don't Make Me Think. It just talks about how straightforward we have to be with our users on the web. All right, next question comes from Andy in Columbus, Ohio, who says, I'm digging Matterport Tours. What do you think about them? And should my builder go all in? Or what do you suggest the best way to go about this? So Matterport Tours are becoming very, very popular for good reason. They're a way to, as we're doing here, browse through a home virtually, right? I can use the arrow keys and walk around, pushing forward. I can swipe around. I can switch floors in an instant. I can even click this little dollhouse view and then choose floor plan to get kind of a sneak peek, right? Now this content has to be captured with a special camera, and that's one of the downsides of this is the expense of that camera. If you want to buy it outright, can be pretty big, but you can for sure find vendors. The BDX, for example, is a nationwide vendor who can do this for you. There's often local vendors as well. $300 to $500 a house is roughly what we see. And I definitely recommend doing several of these. Start with your most popular floor plans first, right? Use that 80-20 rule to our advantage. 20% of your floor plans are probably going to drive the majority of your sales. Anytime we have an opportunity to get new content, better content, let's start with that 20% that's driving the revenue. It's okay that it's everyone's favorite. We don't have to treat every floor plan like we do our kids and be fair. So my suggestion is to start with your most popular ones, because this is something great, but it's not as great as you might think. So if you've ever played a video game in your life, you probably understand how to control this and work through it. But what we've seen in sales offices and in user testing websites is that some people, their first reaction to this is, ugh, it's really ugly. Especially this view right here. They're just like, it looks like the house is broken. So there is some of this tech aversion, even though this is the simplest and easy form of the tool that you could use by far. But it's not going to be for everyone. So at least do several of them so that for your most popular floor plans, that content is there. Here's a great tip to help people figure what these are all about. Do a screen capture, similar to what I'm doing right now, of a tour of your house. Do a screen capture. Don't move around as quickly as I am right here, but start at the front door, walk people through the house, and as you're doing so, you can give them a tour, right? You can talk to them about what is in this room right here, right? Especially kitchens. Talk about the finishes. You can talk about why the decorator did certain things, the reason the floor plan exists, all this extra context around it that you can't get from anywhere else on the site. So one, it's a video that provides extra value. The second thing, though, is you're showing them how to use it, right? You're actually teaching them. And another version of this is talking about and using your own website. Sales center tools are fantastic. They have their place, but I'm a big fan of using your own site with the customer in the model, because then you're teaching them how to use your own site. So when they go back home and they hop back on, if you've shown them the feature or the area of the site that has a lot of great stuff, but people just don't naturally gravitate towards, now all of a sudden you've added value to everyone by teaching them how to do this. So as long as you're in that $300 to $500 range, depending on your area, I would definitely do a handful of these, but don't make this, back to the website we were looking at before, we said put the video up top. Don't make the Matterport front and center as soon as the page loads, because there will be people who have that tech aversion of saying this is strange and unusual. I'm not used to this yet. So keep the videos and photos up top and then put this right below, or have a separate button where people can choose to view them if you want to. Let's see. The other thing about Matterports, real quick, that you need to Google this separately, is called Matter Tags. Matter Tags lets you add context buttons on different features of the home. So if we were in this room, for example, we could put a tag, a little dot, on the floor, and when you hovered over that, it would tell you the finish of the floor. Again, the questions that people want to know is, what is the finish of that floor, right? It provides value early on in their shopping experience because they want to know. But if I'm about to make a purchase decision from a home builder and I'm looking through their content on their site, I'm building a list of the products that I might want in my own home. And so when I find something that I like, I want to know more detail about it. So do a separate search for Matter Tags for those of you who already have Matterport Tours. Guys, I've only seen 2 builders using these to any extent, and they're not using them on the features that consumers really want to know about. So Matter Tags are a great piece. All right, we got a live question from Corey. What would you suggest instead of contact us, Kevin, especially if there are 2 OSCs? Okay, good question. So this is from Corey at Royal Oaks. If you have more than 1 OSC, you can have still a general, let's browse to your site, one, which is a sexy, sexy new mobile-first site that they just launched, right? But contact us if there's more than 1, or questions even if there's more than 1. When you touch it, look at this. I think this is a plant, Corey, but they contact Corey and Amanda, so it's okay to show that there's a team. Another thing that's great, they have an introductory video. But I think, contact us, just put their names in there. Make it personal, right? Some builders I know even have the ability to change it kind of on the fly, and we do that with phone numbers and where those numbers are routed, but some people change their forms often as well. So fast answers, have a question. The call to action can vary. The main point to me is once they get on the form, if we go back to that Oaks Development Company site here, Oaks Development Company. When we come back here and take a look at this, the contact us, let's just compare this. Ooh, right? There's personality here. I do think, Corey, we could get a little bit better with the emotion, right? To contact Royal Oaks Building Group for information on our homes and communities, fill out the form on this page. The video is awesome. Pictures are great. Just add some more emotion to the form. All right. Now it is time for a little section of the show we call Tech Corner, brand new, as is everything on episode 1. So every time we do the show, we're going to introduce you to a little piece of technology that you might be able to use yourself. This guy right here is called the Mevo, M-E-V-O. It is called a live event camera. There's 2 parts here. This is the actual camera on top with a microphone and a high definition 4K camera. And then this is called a boost pack, which gives it up to 4 hours of battery life and additional storage as well. You can plug it in, hook it up to a tripod. But what does this thing do for us, Kevin, is what you really want to know. And what it does is the power is all really in the app. It's a 4K camera. And so as you can see on this screen here, there's that red box, which is what is currently in the shot, and it lets us edit live on the fly. So in this example, I could touch, it's tracking the faces. I can touch each of these players' faces. It would zoom in naturally as if it was a Monday Night Football episode, right? So it tracks the whole scene. It will automatically move to what is an area of interest if you have it set on automatic. How do home builders use this though, right? Let's talk about the Facebook Live tours of the model, right? Setting this up in an area that looks on a lot of the house could let you direct and zoom in. It also can zoom in quite well without losing loss of quality. I think another big opportunity for this one is design studios, right? If you use this in a design studio and you put it in front of the display of all of the cabinets, and then you gave people the ability to zoom in on the particular cabinet and see detail that they wanted to, and then zoom back out, pull out different boards of different selections, have designers talk about the homes that they did the past week. There's really no end in terms of opportunity for doing this. All sorts of live events, but it's just fantastic to have one device that lets you edit live, because the biggest challenge that builders have about video now that the tools are getting better is not shooting it. It's what do I do with the footage once I get it? And so if you're making all these adjustments live on the fly, then what you end up with is a finished piece as soon as you hit the stop button on recording. And of course, it does stream straight through to Facebook Live through your phone. No additional technology is necessary. Can you share what app you use to make that GIF? Brandon says. I'm not sure which GIF you're talking about. If you're talking about the one in the email, I use Photoshop for that. And there's a timeline tool. If that's the one you're talking about, the email that we sent out here to promote the show, just Photoshop. But there is a ton of different apps in the App Store. In fact, one that you guys need to do, in addition, Brandon, is any apps that let you create live video for use in social media advertising. Those are definitely the ones to be checking out. All right, let's wrap it up here. This is going on 15 minutes, so thanks again for being so part of this first episode. Still super pumped that we can do this and share our screens. We also have the ability to share a mobile version of the screen as well, so we can look at your site in a mobile or mobile ad specifically and see how those work. But again, submit your questions. Continue to look at live on the show. I think we're going to do this every week, Wednesday or Thursday night every week, trying to do it in prime time because people have to work during the day, right? And so just continue to send your questions in and your feedback, and I will see you next time.